Whether you just got a new camera or you would just want to make sure that yours is set up correctly, I've got you covered. What is up, everybody? My name is Austin James Jackson. I'm a professional landscape photographer based here in southern Utah, and in today's video, we are talking about the 6 camera settings that you should change on your camera if they aren't already set up correctly. Now, a lot of these aren't set up correctly by default, and I want to tell you guys what those settings are, how to change them, as well as why you would want to change them or the benefits of not changing them. And I'm going to tell you about it in this video. Now, the words that I'm going to be using for some of these settings are going to be what they are on my Sony camera. If you have a Canon, a Nikon, a Fuji, an Olympus, anything else, whatever you've got, you will have options to change most, if not all of these settings, but they might be labeled something different. So you might have to do a little poking around to figure out exactly what they are. But I want to tell you guys what those 6 settings are. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So the first thing you want to change is the file format. Now, by default, most cameras come to you shooting in like a fine quality JPEG, which is going to be a lot smaller file, but it's something that we can't work with. As photographers, we want to be able to edit most of our images, at least I personally do, and I'm guessing you probably do too. If that's the case, you want to change your file format to RAW. Now, a RAW file is going to give us the largest ability to push and pull the shadows and the highlights to add dynamic range, the best colors, the ability to add in more colors, and it's going to allow you to do all these things a little more seamlessly with a RAW processor than the JPEG images would. So if you're editing in Lightroom or Photoshop or any other software, you're going to want to have those RAW files. So go ahead and change it to RAW. Now, the setting number 2 that you want to change is called crop sensor mode, basically, or APS-C, or 35mm mode. Basically, what this does is it converts your full frame camera into a crop sensor. Now, if you have a crop sensor camera, you're not going to have this option because obviously it's already a crop sensor. But on a full frame camera, they all have the option, or at least most of them have the option to crop it into a crop sensor camera. Now, you wouldn't really want to do that unless you want a smaller file size, but honestly, you bought the full frame for a reason probably, so go ahead and just turn this off. A lot of times it's set to auto where it'll automatically turn on sometimes. You just want to go ahead and turn this off. Get rid of this setting, disable it. Don't ever really use it because you don't buy yourself anything. You can always just take the image on that full frame sensor and crop down, and it'll have the same effect, but you have more pixels to work with later in your software. So turn this off, disable it. You do not want the APS-C or 35mm mode or whatever it's called on your camera. Now, setting number 3 that we want to change is the long exposure NR. This is especially important for those of you that want to shoot night photos like myself. You don't want the long exposure noise reduction on. Now, there's definitely some different theories about this. I've tested it myself. I don't like the long exposure noise reduction. You want to just get rid of it. If we want to do some noise reduction, there's plenty of great softwares out there to do that noise reduction for us. Essentially, the long exposure noise reduction, you go out, let's say you're taking an image of the night sky. So you get your 30-second image, and then after that 30-second image is up with this setting off, the camera's just going to be done. You can shoot another one if you want. With the setting on, the camera is going to close the shutter and take another image to try and reduce some noise on the photo. So it's going to take double the time. So if you want to take a 30-second exposure, it's going to take you 60 seconds. If you want to take a 120-second exposure, it's going to take you 240 seconds. So everything is going to double in time when you're using long exposures. I don't use long exposure noise reduction. Like I mentioned before, there's plenty of great softwares. I'll make sure to link a video where you guys can check out some of the great noise reduction software that I've reviewed. This is a much, much better way to reduce noise than doing it in camera on the long exposure noise reduction. Now, setting number 4 to turn off, and this one might be a sleeper for you guys, is the auto review. A lot of photographers leave the auto review on by default, and this basically makes it so that after you shoot a photo, the photo you just took appears on your camera's screen. Now, this is fine, but to be honest with you guys, it wastes a lot of battery. A lot of times when we're out shooting, you're taking 10 or 15 images at once, back to back to back to back to back, and you don't need to review every single image. And when you turn that auto review on, it's eating away at the battery because it is now loading out something on the LCD screen, which takes a lot of battery compared to some of the other components of the camera. Honestly, turn this auto review off. You can always just click one simple button to bring up your auto review and see the image again, but you don't need the auto review on at all times because it's just wasting your battery. It's just not necessary. Now, if you really want to review after every single image you shoot, you can leave this on. But for me personally, I've always had this setting off and I prefer it that way. I do not want it on because it's using battery and it's just the images are appearing on the screen when I don't need them to be. So it's kind of pointless. Now, setting number 5, and this is a big one, is to turn off the audio signals. Oh my goodness, nothing is worse than being out in the field and you hear that someone has their audio signals on. You've got the 2-second timer going beep, 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 and then you hear a shutter click. Trust me, turn these off. You really don't want these on. This is like the best way to let everyone know that you're brand new to photography and you just got your camera. And if that's you, that's totally cool. But let me help you guys look a little bit more experienced by turning that audio signal off. Not only is it really annoying, especially if you're out in nature shooting or whatever it may be, but also it's just unnecessary. It's another battery waster. That sound is taking some battery to use and you just don't need the audio signals on. They don't really help you at all. In my opinion, I don't know what the audio signal does to help you unless maybe you're setting your camera up on a tripod and doing a timer, but otherwise just turn the audio signals off. Trust me here, you're gonna want them off. They're usually really easy to find. You should be able to do this on every single camera, no matter what brand of camera it is. You should be able to turn audio signals off. Now, last but not least, number 6 is that you wanna disable the ability to take photos without a lens or a memory card in there. Now, some camera manufacturers have this set to on, some have it set to off. You definitely want it to off. Now, the reason why you would not want your camera to let you take a photo without a memory card in is because if you let it allow you to take a photo, you might not realize that you don't have a memory card in, and it's just taking a photo just for the fun of it. It's not saving it anywhere, so you won't be able to use that photo later. So the reason why this is a problem is, let's say you go out on a shoot and you forgot your memory card, or it's in your backpack and it's not quite in your camera. You're taking lots of photos, you're getting great shots, and then you go home and realize, shoot, I didn't have a memory card in my camera. These photos all just vanished in thin air. I was taking photos for fun. Now the problem with that is if you have it set to off, the camera, when you try to take a photo, will say, whoa, hold on, we can't take this photo because we don't have a memory card, which will cue your brain to realize, oh shoot, my memory card is in my bag, or oh, I don't have my memory card. I need to run to the store really quick and grab one. But it's going to make it so that you're not just wasting your time taking images that are not saving. You definitely want this setting off. Don't have it on. There's really no reason to have it on unless you just want to like practice with your camera and you don't care about the photos at all. Just turn it off, trust me. Alrighty guys, I want to thank you so much for checking out this video. Hopefully this is helpful for you guys if you are amateur photographers or you picked up a new camera or anything like that. Go ahead and adjust all of these settings mentioned in this video because it's going to make it so that you can take better photos more efficiently or whatever it may be. Trust me, it's going to help you guys. It's going to make you look more professional and your photos are going to look better. If you have any questions or any other settings that you think I should include, please leave them down below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Love to hear if there's any other kind of settings that you guys like to change on your camera. Of course, there's some certain things on my Sony that I always change, but these might be brand specific or mirrorless camera specific. If you are interested in hearing about those, let me know in the comments. I'd be more than happy to tell you a couple more of the settings that I change on my mirrorless camera, but these were the 6 settings that I change on any camera, no matter what it is, any brand new camera, any camera that I have, change these 6 settings. Trust me, guys. Thank you so much for checking out this week's video. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next weekend. Have a good one. Bye-bye.